Right, so we'll start the second part. You can keep working on whatever you're working on. So I will upload the files on Google Drive. So for that we have a command. So let me demonstrate these commands to you, just as an added thing. Okay, so let's start IPython again because I'll want to extract the IPython commands. Since IPython is available inside the virtual environment, we'll enable that. Then I type IPython, and if I write the percent history command with the -g, so that will print all the history in IPython that I have used on this machine. Okay. And it also has a session. So for example, this is the 16th session, and there was 15 session, and then there was a 14 session, different times I opened the IPython shell. So all the commands are there, and I can have a person history -g, then I can have a -o. This is, I want to output this into a file, and the file name is, I can give it a IPython commands _ leg4.txt. Okay, so this will export all the history into this text file. So now if I do ls, I can see that this file is available, which I can now upload. So let's do a feather pad onto this IPython. Sorry. So now you can see that all these commands are there in the text file. So now I can share this text file with you, and then you can look at all the commands that I have typed and play around with them at your convenience. Okay, these were the IPython commands, and then I was also typing commands in the terminal. So for that I have the standard history command, which prints all the history, and I can export that into a text file. So I can simply say terminal commands, and then I can give it a lecture4.txt. Okay, so if I do an ls, I can see there is a terminal commands file as well. Okay, so I'll just share these as Google Docs in the Google Drive folder for the course, and then you can access them from there and play around with it for some time. Right, let's continue the discussion now. So what we have done is, we have been able to define a function. The function looks like this, sqrt2. So I can import the function. For that I need to be in IPython. So let's run IPython. So if I import mysqrt, in fact I can import it as ms, so that what it does is, I don't have to refer to mysqrt every time. I can use ms for mysqrt, and then I can refer to the function as .sqrt2. So that is a function. So it's much easier to do this way than if you have different sqrt functions. For example, I import numpy as let's say np, and I import math as let's say math only. So then I have a math.sqrt function available. I have a numpy.sqrt function available. Sorry, np.sqrt. Okay, so what we see is that we have different functions available in the namespace that I can refer to using this dot character. So always recommended you use this technique. So that way is, I would have created a function called sqrt only, not sqrt2, and I know that that is in my mysqrt module, and then I can compare the functions with the same name sqrt. Okay, so how would I call it? I'll just simply say mysqrt dot, and then if I press a tab, it automatically shows me what is available. It says that sqrt2 is available. So if I had multiple functions available, it would have shown me all these functions which are available to me that I can use. Okay. Well, so this is working. Let's pass it something. So if I pass 2.0, the function works well. So all's good here. So we have pushed it in the repository. Now what I want to discuss is a bit about let's say if I do a git log now, let's go back. So I can see I have a couple of commits here. Now in case I want to go to a previous commit, all I have to do is do a git checkout, and then I have to write the commit ID. So I can see there is a commit ID which is a long hexadecimal string. I don't need to write the complete ID. In fact, I can do a control C, copy paste here. So what it does is it checks out the version that I have copied. So I actually have checked out the initial version, which was my first commit on the MySQRT Python script. I can check that. I can in fact go to the folder and I can do a cat on MySQRT file, and you can see it's back to the original version that I had started with. Okay. So git checkout can be used to check out a particular commit that you would want to check out. You can play around with it, and if you want, if you're happy, if this is the version you want, or you modify a couple of lines here, you can then push it again, and that will create a new commit. All right. I don't want to do that now, but if you want to revert to this version, you can do that, or you can revert to this version, make some more changes, and then you can you can commit it again, and that creates a new commit. So this is how you move around between. So if I do a git status now, it says that the head is detached at this, and then it tells me that there is some untracked file. Okay. So now if I do a git log, it says that I only have one log because I have moved back in history. Okay. So if I do a git checkout and then I say head, then if I do a git status now, ideally it should show me the if I do a git checkout head, I should be able to come back to the original checkout. I mean the original. Let's try to go back to the. Let's see if that commit is the latest commit that we did is available. So I don't need to write the full history. I can just type as the full path. I can just type the first few letters, and that should work. Okay, so now we are back to that commit. So if I do git status now, let's see if the file version is still the latest one. Yeah, so the file looks to be fine. So we can see that we are back to the latest version. To check why it's not showing the complete. Sorry, I was trying to do git log. Sorry, I was thinking something else. I was trying to do a git log. It is working. So we are back to the initial version that we wanted. Okay. You can ignore that command that you are getting with git status, the result head detached at this. That's okay, but we are back at the original version. So you can do a git log and you can check the different commits available and you can move to whichever commit you want. Okay. Also, if there are multiple files and I want to check out only one file to a previous version, I can do that as well. So let's say well, right now I only have one file, but if I wanted to only check out let's say the version of mysquareroo.py at this particular commit, I could do a git checkout, and then I can simply write the file name, which is mysqrt.py. Okay. So if I do that and press enter, it only checks out a previous version of this mysqrt.py file, not all of them. Okay. So that way is I can just maintain them, and then if I am happy I can modify it and push it again, or if I want to revert, then I can revert by using a git checkout the original version, or I can simply say git checkout head, which refers to the head in capital refers to the latest commit that you had done, and then you bring back the latest version of mysqrt from that head. So this is how you move between different versions. That's the whole point of doing this, right? If you want to move, revert to a previous version. So what we'll do now is let's open this again. I would want to add some documentation to it. So the way we do that is by add a doc string, because whenever you would want the user of this module to print the doc string and see what exactly is this module trying to do. So we can add a comment on the top, or in fact we can have a triple quoted doc string as it is known, and then inside this you can simply type something. So I can say module to calculate okay. Now if I save it and then I go back to IPython and I import says there is no doc string. I think it's already imported this. So if I import it again, it's not working. So what I'll have to do is I have to reload this. Right. So there's a module called import lib. So basically I have to reload this file, which I do it using the reload function available in import lib library in Python. So if I now that I have reloaded it, if I do an ms.sqrt, Okay, I think I'm doing something wrong. So, right, so I was looking at the doc string of my sqrt function, but I should be looking at the doc string of my sqrt module. Okay, so my sqrt module is what we have here. On the top we have this doc string. So now you can see that it says doc string is module to calculate square root using Newton's method. So if you know you had a module, you simply do a question mark followed by the module. It tells you that what it has. So if I do it for numpy, so you can see that it prints a complete documentation for numpy as well. Okay. Similarly, I can have a doc string for a particular function. So inside this sqrt function on the top, we can have a doc string here. Again, a triple quoted string. So let's save it. I'll have to reload my sqrt. I think the problem is again because now I'm opening in Vim, so it does not like tabs and spaces being mixed together. So let's open it in Featherpad again. So I'm converting everything, all the spaces to tab, so they should work now, hopefully. Right. So if I import it now, if I reload mysqrt, then it works. So now if I write mysqrt.sqrt2 with a question mark, it now gives me the doc string for this sqrt function as well. Okay. Similarly, for numpy, you have an sqrt function. So if you write a numpy.sqrt followed by a question mark, it gives you the doc string of this numpy function that we have here. Right. So I can I can now commit this version which has a doc string now. So let's do that. Okay, so it says that mysqrt.py is ready to be committed. So it's now sometimes what happens is you make a mistake and you add a file by mistake, so you can always unstage it. Okay, it tells you here that you can use git restore minus minus staged followed by the file name to remove this file from the staging area to be committed. You can use also a git reset head command. So I can do a git reset head followed by, and then I can write the file name which is mysqrt.py. Okay. So if I do a git status now, you can see that it's all it's again become a red in color. So that means it's unstaged it again. So if by mistake we add a file and for committing, but here we actually want to add it. So I'll git add again, and then we can do a git commit. Okay, so if I do a git log now, I can see that this latest commit has this doc string added, which is what we wanted. If I do a git, well, just to show you, let's go up and then I'll create a file called test. So if I do a git status, it shows me that there are some untracked files, and that may keep bothering me because you could have hundreds of these. So if I do a git status followed by a dot, it would avoid looking for new files which have not been staged in folders which are not in the current folder. So you can do a git status on a given folder, and that only checks the status of files and folders available in the current folder. Okay. So if I do git status dot refers to the current folder, so it only tells me that there is actually nothing to be committed here. Okay. So MySQRT has this doc string available, which is what we want. There is also a command called git followed by ls files. So this command will tell you which files are available, which are currently tracked by git. So if you have a number of files and you want to check which ones are actually tracked by git, you can use this ls files command. Again, I mean, feel free to explore the internet to check for all the options available. I am just giving you a couple of them which I have used in the past for using them in my work, but you can check for the others as well, they may be useful. Seems that it's time now, so we'll stop here and then we'll meet again day after tomorrow. We'll talk about something about debugging, and also about a file called gitignore, which allows us to ignore these files like pycache and other folders like pycache and other files which keep bothering us. So git will automatically learn to ignore them and not show them to you. And we'll also talk about tests, a module called PyTest, which is used for running test cases if you want to have some unit tests to be written for your program. Okay, so we'll write some test cases and see how we can run them automatically using a command called using a module called PyTest. Okay. So we'll stop now, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.